Hello developers, welcome to day 3 of our 15 days object-oriented programming series. In this video, we'll try to understand what are constructors. So as the name suggests, constructors are used to construct the objects in Java. So whenever you create an object, usually the syntax of creating an object is new followed by the constructor. Example, in our previous videos, we created product objects. How we created the product object? We use new product with a no argument. So means this one is basically the constructor invocation. It just looks like a method invocation, but we did not have any code in our program. In this, we'll try to understand how we can provide constructors. So in Java, we have 3 types of constructors. First one is default constructor, second is no argument constructor, and third one is argument constructor. First, let us understand what is default constructor. So as the name suggests, as a programmer, if you don't provide any constructor in the code, by default, Java provides default constructor. So the default constructor's functionality is to initialize the state of instances to the default values. Now let us understand the default constructor programmatically. Hey, thanks for watching our content so far. If you are new to Training Mark, we're the fastest growing technology training company and create content to help freshers like you to master the disruptive technologies like full stack development, AML, cloud, DevOps, etc. If you like the content so far, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon not to miss any new content from us. Like and share this video with all your friends. Let's build your career and the community together. If you look at our product class, where we created some instance variables and some instance methods. If you look at our code in main.java, in the first line number 9, so we created a product object, product is equal to new product. So now here if you can look at new, followed by what? This is just looks like a method invocation, but there is no method called product in our product.java. So this is basically the constructor. So if you want to create an object in Java, you have to invoke a constructor. But did we provide any constructor in our product.java? No, we did not provide any constructor. So when you don't provide any constructor, by default Java provides default constructor. That's the reason what is happening whenever you run this, it will basically initialize it to default value. So whenever you call this display product details, we actually got the default values. So whenever you run this, you can see that we got the default values for the product like 0, null, 0.0 and then 0. So this is what is a functionality of default constructor. And after that we change the values by using the reference. That's a different story. So but if you want to provide your own constructor, then you can write that inside your product class. So the second thing, as a programmer, what you can provide is either a no argument constructor or argument constructor. As the name suggests, no argument constructor does not take any argument. Example, suppose I want to create a no argument constructor. So to provide that, I'm just using the name of the class. Name of the constructor must be the name of the class. So now here I have to use only the product. Since it's a no argument, I'm not passing any data as an argument. I'm writing an sout statement just to confirm that this one is invoked whenever I call using the no argument constructor. So let me go to my main.java and rerun the code to see what is happening. Now, if you can see that in the very first line, I got product no argument is invoked. Means whenever I'm creating an object at line number 9, it basically went now and then called this no argument constructor and then executed this system.out.println. But still, it is initialized to the default value. So suppose if I want to initialize these values to my own values, example, ID is equal to, I'm just initializing it to 4 ones, name is initializing it to product 1, or you can initialize whatever the value, then price is equal to some other value, then quantity is equal to 100. Now what happens here is, since I'm initializing this, your constructor will initialize the values instead of the default values. Now here also, I'll get the default values here. So now if I go to main.java and then run my code, so instead of getting default values, now whatever the values I initialize now will be picked up and then will be executed. So this will helpful whenever you have only a single object in your entire application. But in our application, we'll have hundreds of millions of products. But for all products, we cannot have the same values. So in that case, the argument constructor will be helpful. Now, what do you mean by argument constructor is, I don't want to pass the same values, or I don't want to construct the same product object with the same values, right? So every product ID is different, name is different, price is different, and quantity is different. So in that case, I can't use no argument constructor. I will pass the values of this at the time of constructing the object itself by passing the data. That is where we will pass the arguments. Example, suppose I want to create an argument. I want to create an object by passing certain values like this. Example, I want to pass ID something like this. Our name, I'll say Lenovo or touchpad. Then the price is something. Then the quantity is something. So I want to pass these values. So like this, when I'm constructing the object, I want to pass these values. So since I'm passing these arguments, so this is called as an argument constructor. How do you provide the argument constructor? So there is a shortcut way of doing it. Just press Alt Insert. Then it will ask you to generate the constructor. Then it is asking you, hey, for what are the properties that you want to include in this argument constructor. So I'm just selecting all properties. Just use Shift and then down arrow. Then click on OK. So that by default, it writes a code saying that, hey, you pass ID, you pass name, you pass price, you quantity. Then this is what is basically a local variable where we are passing that to the constructor. So example, now here I'm passing this 444, right? Now this 444, now you see your ID is intelligent enough to identify, hey, this constructor is existing now. Where ID, I'm passing this to this ID. And similarly, the name Lenovo touchpad, I'll pass this to this name. And then the price, I'll pass this to this price and quantity. So this will become local variables. But to assign these values to the instance, we use this dot ID is equal to ID because both the variable names are same. So this is the convention that you have to follow for creating an argument constructor and assigning the values. So like this always refers to the current instance. So this dot ID, this current instance ID, I'm initializing with this local variable. This current instance name, I'm initializing with name. This current instance price, I'm initializing with price and exactly the quantity. So now this now will be invoked, right? So now what I'm doing here, I'm just calling this as product 3 is equal to new product. And then whenever I want to print this product 3 dot display product details, right? So now when I run this code, it will now call me the argument constructor, okay? And then set up all the values here, whatever I passed. So this way, the argument constructors can be provided. So you can pass a single variable, you can pass multiple variables, you can create any number of argument constructor depending upon your business requirement. So whatever the class you created previously, try to create the argument constructors and no argument constructors and invoke them using different kinds of objects values. If you like this video, please hit a like and share it with all your friends. Let's build a great developer community all together. See you in the next videos.